You're highly welcome, my dear brothers and sisters out there. I'm glad that you just clicked to watch this presentation today. Today I'm going to be talking about the rest in Yahuwshuwa. We're going to be going into detailed study about the Shabbat, the rests, the Noah's Ark. We're going to be using the Strong's Concordance to be able to connect all this so that, my dear brothers and sisters, you will have a basic knowledge. You would understand the mystery that is surrounding the name of Yahuwshuwa. You need to understand that the rest in Yahuwshuwa, the name Yahuwshuwa is the Noah's Ark. And that is the place where you're going to run into and you are going to be saved. So, we in this topic today, what I would like us to do, because we are going to be going into a detail. So, if you have your Strong's Bible, I would like you to go pick it up and bring it over, because we are going to be using the Strong's numbers to be able to connect a lot of things which we are talking about today. Because this is going to give you a different understanding, a different dimensional knowledge when it comes to the Shabbat. When it comes to the knowledge about Shabbat, do not be carried away by all these back to Torah or the Shabbat people who are trying to say that they are keeping the Shabbat. They don't know nothing about the Shabbat. They know nothing. They don't even understand the meaning of what Shabbat is all about. And that is the reason why, as you are here today, we are about to explore and see the mystery. What exactly is the Shabbat? Now, go with me into the book of Genesis, because it is something, as you can see right here, it is something that I would like us to really be able to really go dig deeper into. Because we are about to see something that is deep here. We go into the book of Genesis, chapter number 2, from verse number 2 and 3. Now, the Bible makes us to understand something there. It says, from verse number 2, and on the seventh day, Elohim ended his work, which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work, which he had made. So Elohim rested from his work. Now, understand this English. It is very clear. On the seventh day, listen to it here, and on the seventh day, Elohim ended his own work. The work is his own, not your own work. He ended his own work, which he had made, and he rested. So he rested from his own work, not your own work. So now when he rested from his own work, what happened is, I want you to now understand something. The rest that is here now that he rested on, this is something that I would like us to be able to do, what to dig deeper into, to know what kind of rest did Elohim had after he ended up his own work. Because this is his own Shabbat. This is his own rest. So now when we go to see the mystery or the kind of rest that he had, we traced this rested to this Hebrew Strong's number 7673. And when we went there, we understand that what it means Shabbat. So now, what this passage of the scripture is telling us is that on the seventh day, Elohim had ended up his own work, not your own work. Understanding, there is difference between his own work and your own work. His own work, Elohim ended his own work and rested. Now, that rested is he had his own Shabbat. He had his own Shabbat. That is why I want us to trace the Shabbat to see what does that Shabbat mean. What does that particular Shabbat now tell us about? They say the Shabbat is what is the transliteration is Shabbat in the Hebrews, which means in the KJV translated Strong's H7673 in the following manner: to cease, to rest, to stay away, that is away, to fail, to celebrate, that is to say, to stay away, to refrain, to cease, that is to relax, to not to do anything on that time. That is to say, he chose to do what? To relax, to rest. That is his own Shabbat. That is why when you come here now, what I did was I gave you in this book of Genesis chapter number 2 to 3, rested there means the same thing as what? Shabbat. You understand it? So he had his own Shabbat. Now, the Shabbat that he had is in what? In the Strong's number 7673. Right? So now, I want us to also go into the book of Exodus. You see it here. We want to know what kind of Shabbat. We want to see something in the book of Exodus chapter number 20 from verse number 8. Now, it says, remember the Shabbat day to keep it holy, to keep it set apart. Now, overstand something on the next verse of this topic. Overstand something in verse 9. It said, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy works. Talking about your own works now, not Elohim. Listen to what happened. But the seventh day is the Shabbat of Yahuwah thy Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughters, thy maidservant, nor thy handmaid, nor thy cattle, nor thy strangers that are within thee. Now, something I want you to understand right here from this particular passage is this. Number one, here the instruction is being given to now the children of Israel, which are on a single basis. Now, they are to observe. They were being given a warning to go, but they should bear in mind that they are allowed to work for 6 days. Now, working on that 6 days, when it comes to the 7th day, which is the Shabbat of Yahuwah, they should cease from work. They are allowed to work from the whole 6 days. They are allowed to work. But when it comes to the 7th day, they were to cease. They were to stop working. And they were to do what? They were also to have rest. The same time that the Yahuwah is doing what? Is also having his own rest. So, this is the reason why it tells them that 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy works. You are allowed to do works on what? The whole 6 days. But the 7th day is the Shabbat of who? Yahuwah thy Elohim. So the 7th day, we are going to be seeing what the Shabbat is, the 7th day, the 7th is, and day is right here on today's lesson. So now, they were being told, they were being informed, they were being instructed to work for 6 days, but on the 7th day, they should go into the rest. They should also go into the rest. They should run into the Noah's ark. They should go into the rest, because that is the ark. That is, they should go into a resting place with Yahuwah. You need to understand it. So this is the warning to them. This is the instruction that was being given to the children of Israel. So what happened now? I want us to do something. That is, in that book of Exodus chapter number 20 from verse number 8, it said, remember the Shabbat day to keep it holy. So remember a particular day to keep it set apart. So I want us to go now. When you go into the Strongs now, we want to go into that Shabbat, because when we came over here, we see that what, if you go there, we want to trace right here, we want to trace in the book of Exodus chapter number 20 verse 8. You see that Shabbat there, which is this. We want to trace it. We want to see what Strong's number is it from. What number is it? What kind of Shabbat is this? Because he told them here that 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy works. That is in verse number 8, sorry. He said, remember the Shabbat day. Shabbat, to keep it holy. Giving them a warning to remember the resting day. To remember the resting day. Do not forget about the resting day. Do not forget about the rest of Yahuwah. To do what? To keep it set apart is a warning, is an instructional manual, is a simple direct instruction. Now, we go here now, we want to see the Shabbat that the Bible is making us to understand there. Here is what The KJV Strong's, when you go into that particular place, that it leads us to what? To Strong's number, that is here, Strong's number 7673, which is the same one that we had here. That is 7673 is going to point you to what? To 7673. So when we went down here in 7673, which pointed us to 70, when we went to 7676, it pointed us to 7673. Now 7673 is the same one that we saw in the book of Genesis, 7673. Therefore, the Sabbath that he is talking about here is the same rest that he had in the book of Genesis chapter number 2 from verse number 2 to 3. So because these are the same Strong's numbers that connect us to the same source. So when he told them to remember the Shabbat day, he is telling them to remember the day of rest of their father, that is to say of Yahuwah. Remember the resting day of Yahuwah. While you are going on a journey, while you are going in a place where you're going, as you're going into the land of the Canaanites, as you're going into those land of the that land of the Canaanite, do not forget the resting days of your fathers. Do not forget the resting days of Yahuwah, which is what? Which is the seventh day. So when you go there, you remember that day and do what? And keep it set apart. And that particular time, you need to understand that what he was talking about, a resting time. He was talking about this contemporary time that we are in, so that they are going to, the children of Israel are going to remember. That is to say, they are going to remember, they are going to run, they are going to remember. In order for them to remember the day of Yahuwah or the resting day of Yahuwah, they have to do it when they run into the Noah's Ark. That is by going into what? Into the Noah's Ark, by going into the Sabbath, which is Yahushua himself, is them doing what? Remembering the Sabbath day. So when you run into Yahushua, you are actually doing what? Remembering the Sabbath. So, but I'm expounding something. I'm showing you something from the scripture here. Now, we have already established and you've seen that 7673, which is in the book of Exodus, is the same with 7673, which is in the book of Genesis chapter number 2. So now, I want us to go the same book of Genesis, Exodus chapter number 20 from verse number 10. It said, but the seventh day is the Sabbath. Talk about the same Shabbat here is the Sabbath, the seventh day, which is, now, you need to understand something. I'm going to be expounding the meaning of the term seventh day, which is the time period, which is the bosom, which is the womb, which we are in now. This is the seventh day. You understand it? This is the time, the bosom, the time which we are in. Now, this seventh day, he said that what? But the seventh day is the Shabbat, which is now, is the Shabbat of Yahuwah. Is the Shabbat of Yahuwah, which is now. So what do you do in this Shabbat? You go into his rest. Where is his rest? His rest is in Yahushua. You run into his rest. What is his rest? Yahushua. So you run into it. When you run into his rest, you are also having rest. So you are not going to walk when he is at work. Because now he is resting, and now you run into Yahushua, so you are resting while also he is now. You are resting while he is working. But now, if you are working here, he is resting and you are working. So this contradicts whatsoever he was saying. So you need to understand the meaning, the mystery behind this. Listen to what the Bible said there. He said that what? But the seventh day is the Shabbat of Yahuwah. The seventh day, like I tell you, the seventh means the bosom, the time, the moment that we are in now. This is the time. This is this dispensation. The time which the Spirit, those who are going to worship him, they are going to worship him in spirit and in truth. This is the seventh day. This is the seventh. This is the seventh. So remember the seventh day. That is, remember the seventh day and keep it set apart and keep it kodash and go into the resting place. Also rest. Go into the resting place as Yahuwah is having his rest. You are also already benefiting, also having your own rest in Yahushua. You need to understand it. So now that is the reason why when we went there, now we saw that what in the book of Exodus chapter number 20 from verse number 10, Shabbat also gave us the same thing here, 7676 in the Strongs, but directing us to what? 7673. Now when you see that what the rest which is in the book of Genesis is the same, because they have the same Strong's number, is the same with the one here in the book of Exodus 28, and it's also the same with the one in the book of Exodus chapter number 20 from verse number 10. So it's talking about the same rest. It's talking about resting. Now I want us to go down again now, to go into what? Into the book of the same book of Exodus chapter number 20 from verse number 11. It says there, for in the 6 days Yahuwah made heaven and earth and sea and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yahuwah blessed the seventh day, which is now, and hallowed it. Therefore, listen now, I want us to trace something now. Did you see that rested, which is found in the book of Exodus chapter number 20 from verse number 11? You see this rested here? I want us to go and see the Strong's number, which is the Strong's number 5117. When we go into the Strong's number 5117, we want to see what kind of rest was he talking about here. Because it says, for in 6 days Yahuwah made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested. So he rested in the 6th day. He rested here now, the 7th day. Wherefore Yahuwah blessed the 7th day and hallowed it. So now this rested. Listen to what happened. Do you remember, and do you realize that when we go down here to be able to see the meaning of that rested, it gives us what? Noah's Ark. Now here is what we are talking about now. That is in the book of Exodus chapter number 20. Exodus chapter number 20. Exodus, let's just use here and be able to see, because kind of a bit hanging, which this laptop is doing now. Now listen to what happened here. Here now it tells us that this Exodus 20:11, the rested that you see there, when you go into this Strong's number, you are going to see that this particular rested, which is found in the book of Exodus chapter number 20 verse 11, that this particular Strong's, it's actually talking about Noah's Ark. Noah. So wait a minute, what does this thing mean? What does it mean to be Noah? You need to see and understand the mystery of what is really happening here now. This is getting more deeper now. Before you understand this, before we go deeper, I would like us to go into the book of Genesis so that you can be able to understand the kind of rest that he's talking about in the book of Exodus chapter number 20 from verse, because he said that it's 7th day. On the 7th day Yahuwah rested. That is the rested which is in the book of Exodus 20:11 is what? Is Noah's Ark. So the one is Noah's Ark. Now we are about to check on this Genesis now, chapter number 8 from verse number 4. Genesis chapter number 8 from verse number 4. He said, and the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. Now, in verse 4 of this Genesis chapter number 8, you see that term rested. You see that term rested. That term rested represent is what actually talking about what? Noah's Ark on the 7th day, which is, like I said, the 7th day is this time that we are in. So on this 7th day, the rest that took place in what? In the Noah's Ark. That is the rest. Now I'm about to show you things more which you can be able to really see and be able to understand, because when you go and do your own Shabbat or whatsoever you call it out there, this has nothing to do with the Most High. You are doing it in your own peril. You are not even in line. You don't even know what you're doing, because you are not in his own rest. You are not connected with what he has already laid down. You are off point. You overstand it. Now listen to what is going on, because he has already made the time you are in the Noah's ark here. You are also in his own rest. The moment you enter into his own rest here in the seventh day, this is what this passage is talking about, the book of Exodus chapter number 20 verse 11. So, and the book of Genesis 8:4. When you enter into his own Noah's ark here, into his rest here in the seventh day, because this is the seventh day that we are in. This is the seventh day. This bosom, this is the time, the moment, the time in space. The time that we are in is the seventh day. So when you enter into his rest, you are actually in the Noah's ark. You have gone into the Noah's ark. That is the reason why you see the book of Exodus 20:11 have the same Strong's number 5117 in the Hebrew, and also in the book of Genesis 8:4 it has the same 5117, which are Nuwak, which is a place where you run into and the righteous run into it. The people who were in during the time of Noah, they ran in, Noah and his family entered into the ark, Noah's ark, into the ark, and they were saved. So you are going to be, when you run into his own rest, you are now in what? In the ark. You are now in the Noah's ark. You are now resting. Overstand something there. Now listen to what the Bible says in the book of Exodus. The book of Exodus, chapter number 30. I want us to see something there. The book of Exodus, because we are using the scripture to be able to show. I'm connected. I'm going to be showing you everything that is going to let you know that if you see all these damn people who are trying to push you to be saying that they are trying to keep Shabbat on there, they don't know what they are doing. They are blind. There is no Shabbat that is greater. There is no Shabbat out there other than going into Yahuwshuwa, because we are on the seventh day, and the seventh day is what? Is to go into the rest of Yahuwah, and the rest of Yahuwah is Yahuwshuwa. That is, when you run into Yahuwshuwa, you are in the Noah's ark. You don't understand what is going on. Listen to what the Bible says in the book of Exodus chapter number 31 from verse number 15. It says, 6 days may work be done. So this is now to the people individually now, not to the Most High, not to the one in the book of Genesis now, but to the people individual now. He said, you are going to work 6 days, but in the seventh day, which is the time that we are in now, in the seventh day is the Shabbat of rest. This time that you are in now, this is the bosom, when the worshippers are going to worship him in the spirit and in truth. This is the bosom time, moment, period, which you are going to worship the Father in the spirit and in truth. That is to say, you are going to go into the Shabbat, into his own Shabbat. He says 6 days you can do all your works all the time, but in this seventh day that we are in now, you don't have to work anything. All you have to do is to come unto Yahuwshuwa, all you that are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. So he is going to be your rest. He is going to be your Shabbat. So go to him. That is exactly the rest that the Father is talking about. So he told them here, he said that you are to work 6 days, be done. But in the seventh day of rest, in the seventh day is the Shabbat of rest, holy to Yahuwah. Whosoever doeth any work in that Shabbat day, he shall surely be put to death. You are taking risk of your life if you are out here trying to say that you are keeping the Shabbat. These are the same people that were being slaughtered that were all being dead, slaughtered in the wilderness because of their ignorance, because of their disobedience, because of their attitude, because of the way that they were all disobeying. This is what this book is saying. You disobey the seventh day, and you go and you are walking on the seventh day. You're trying to keep your own Shabbat. You are risking your own life. You don't know what you're dealing with. I tell you, when you go into Yahuwshuwa, what happens is you are going into the Noah's ark. Don't you understand this? Don't you understand it? Now, I'm about to give you the mysteries. I'm giving you the mysteries. Let's go into the book of 2 Corinthians, because I'm about to show you more of what is really going on so that you can be able to really see things. 2 Chronicles, because we need to be able to really see these things and be able to understand the mysteries of this completely. Now we are going to go into the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter number 15, because I want us to really see something that is really very, very important there. Second Chronicles. Now chapter number 15. Let's start reading from verse number 15. Because something very profound there. Listen to what the Bible says. He said there, and all Judah rejoiced at the oath, for they had sworn with all their heart. They have sworn, all Judah rejoiced, and they have sworn with all their heart, and sought him with their whole desire, and he was found of them, and Yahuwah gave them rest round about. I want you to understand something that is deep here. The Bible makes us to understand that what? That Judah rejoiced at the oath, for they have sworn, that is to say, they have sworn with all their hearts, and they sought Yahuwah with all their hearts. They sought him with all their heart, and they were found of him. That is to say, they found him, and when they found him, he gave them rest. You need to understand something. What kind of rest did he give to them? This is the mystery which you need to be able to see and understand. He said that when they were found of him, he did what? He gave them rest. Now, let's go into that particular place, because we're about to see now what kind of rest did he give to them. So we went into that particular passage in verse number 15. We picked rest. We want to see what kind of rest did Yahuwah give to them, because these were the people that sought him with all their hearts. And the moment they sought him with all their heart, he gave them. He was found of them, and when they were found of him, what happened is he gave them rest. When we went into that particular place, we want to see about the rest. Where does it took us to? Go with me, because I'm giving you mysteries of the book. Listen to what happened in that particular place. That is in the Strong's number of what? H5117. Because we went into that particular place, we wanted to see the kind of rest that was being given to the people of Judah. That is the reason why the kind of rest that was being given to them is what is called Noah. Noah's Ark. Noah. This is the kind of rest that was being given to them. Why? Because these were the people that sought, that brought out their whole hearts, and they were, they seek the Most High with all their hearts. And when they did this, they were found of him. That is to say, these people were the ones that run into the ark. These people were the ones that run into his safety. These people were the ones that run into the ark. For 2 Chronicles 15:15. Don't you see what happened? He said, and all Judah rejoiced at the oath, for they had sworn with all their hearts, and sought him with their whole desire, and he was found of them, and Yahuwah gave them rest round about. Why I brought you here is to be able to show you what kind of rest did he give to them. What kind of rest did he give to the people of Judah? The kind of rest is what is in the Hebrew Strong's number 5117. It means Noah's Ark. And that rest means what? Means when you run into Noah's Ark, that is when you run into Yahuwah, you are having a Noah's Ark. You are in an ark. You are saved. In that place you are having rest. Come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I will going to give you rest. That rest is what is the Noah's Ark. 2 Chronicles, the same particular passage, 2 Chronicles, chapter number 14. I want us to see something there. 2 Chronicles, chapter number 14, from verse number 7. Therefore he said unto Judah, let us build these cities, and make about them walls, and towers, and gates, and bars, while the land is yet before us. Because we have sought Yahuwah, our Elohim, we have sought him, and he had given us rest on every side. So they built and prospered. That rest in that particular passage, what does it mean? That rest means Noah's Ark. It means Noah's Ark. So when the Most High gave them the rest, what happened is there is a place they ran into. You need to understand that in this world, in this seventh day, this time when they were saying this now, that was no longer the seventh day. That was a different day. But Yahuwah was working then, and Yahuwah saw these people, and then he did what? He gave them rest. Why? Because these people have already worked for it. That is to say, when they ran into Yahuwah here, they ran already into the Noah's Ark. So they had that rest in his own time when he is working. You don't understand the mystery of what is going on, right? I give you the mysteries of the scripture. I give you the mysteries of the scripture. You need to understand that Yahuwah is the rest. And what he meant by rest is that he is the Noah's Ark. He is the Noah's Ark. Let's go to the book of Matthew. Let's go to the book of Matthew. Showing you some mysteries of the book. Ain't no flesh we can be able to see all this and be able to show it to you. Talking to the spirit beings, talking to the higher beings which are here to be able to do what? Elevate them into a different dimension. Listen to what the book said in the book of Matthew, chapter number 11. Matthew chapter number 11. We are going to be reading from verse number 28. I want to show you something right there. The kind of rest that we are talking about. 11 chapter number 11 from verse number 28. It says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Overstand it now. He said, "Come unto me, all ye that labor, and I will do what? I will give you rest." I will give you rest. What kind of rest did he give to them? We want to trace this rest that was being found in the book of Matthew chapter number 11 verse 28. Where did it took us to? "And I will be your Shabbat." When we go into this, it traces us. When you go into that rest, it took us to the Greek Strong's number 373. And the Greek 373 now pointed us to the Hebrew 7673, which is what? Shabbat. Don't you understand it? Don't you understand this? That Yahuwah is the rest. He is the Shabbat. When he said, "Come unto me, and I will be your rest," what he was saying is, come unto me and I'm going to be your Shabbat, the master of the Shabbat. He said, "I'm going to be your Shabbat. I'm going to be the one that I'm going to be the one that is going to be on that forefront to lead you on whatsoever you want to. I am your Shabbat. I am the rest." He said, come unto me, and I'm going to be your Noah's Ark. And I'm going to be your Noah's Ark. I'm going to be your Shabbat. That was the reason why he has to preach like Noah. That was why he has to preach like he was talking. He was speaking to them. Why? Because he was teaching in order to do what? In order to elevate those who are going to come into that ark. What happened? While Noah was preaching to the people during his own time, what happened? They were all mocking at him. They were all laughing at him. They were all ridiculing him. The same thing that was happening to this Noah's Ark. The same thing that was happening to this Shabbat. When Yahuwah was preaching, they were mocking at, they were looking. He preached like Noah. He was the rest. He is the rest in this time, because we are on the seventh day. This is the seventh day. When you run into Yahuwah, you are having rest. The same time that Yahuwah is having rest now. So when you run into Yahuwah, you are in Noah's Ark. You are having Shabbat. You are no longer going to be walking, because all your work, what happened? You took all your burden and you do what? And you pumped it into him. You pumped it into Yahuwah. You don't understand what is going on. You're trying there, you are out there trying to keep your own Shabbat. You don't know what you're doing, because you are going to be walking, you are going to be at work when Yahuwah is working also, and you are going to find yourself, you are going to find yourself to be destroyed, because you are ignorant. You don't know what you are doing. The moment you are working in this Shabbat, you are also going to be working when Yahuwah is working, and that is endangering your own life. No wonder a lot of them people perished in the wilderness. Why? Because they were working while Yahuwah was working. You don't know what you're dealing with. I give you mysteries of the scripture. But when you run into Yahuwah, when you run into the Noah's Ark, you are going to be having rest. When Yahuwah is working, you're going to be having rest. when Yahuwah is walking. But you want to walk when Yahuwah is walking, you are going to find yourself to blame. Understand what is going on. I give you mysteries of the scripture. Now listen to what the Bible says. Now we've talked about the Shabbat. We've talked about the rest. Now we talk about the seventh, which is this time period that we are in, the bosom, the time that we are in. I tell you that what the seventh, when you hear about the seventh day, the seventh is talking about this bosom, this time period, this moment in time, this womb that you are in. So when he said in the book of Exodus, let's go to the book of Exodus there. Chapter number 16. Exodus chapter number 16. From verse number 26. It says there, 6 days you shall gather it. But on the seventh day, which is the Shabbat, in it there shall be none. Now this seventh now, because this is what I want us to do now, to be able to go and understand the mystery of this seventh. What was he talking about? This seventh means what? The time. This time. Let's go to the Hebrew Strong so that you can be able to see that. That is in the book of Exodus chapter number, right there in the book of Exodus chapter number 16 from verse number 26. Exodus chapter number 16. I want us to see something that you really need to be able to really understand the scripture, the way it is being arranged and being laid down there, for those who can be able to really see the mysteries which are contained there. Actually, it's not for everybody. Now listen to what the Bible says right there. That is verse 26. We want to see about the seventh. 16 verse 26. Because this is something that is very, very important. You need to understand that the seventh is talking about the time that we are in now, the bosom right here that we are in now, the time period, the moment. Now listen, we want to check on this seventh, right? We want to know what it is, right? So this is it says here, 6 days you shall gather it, but on the seventh and day are two different things. Seventh. Now let's go to this seventh. It means what? We go there in the Hebrew Strong 7637. What does it show us? You need to be able to really see things. What does it show us? It shows us, it's going to show us the bosom. That is the time that we are in. What did you have here? They said the Shabbat. Now go here. We're going to go down so that you can be able to give us the real understanding, because we need to dissect this to be able to show you exactly what is really going on. Listen to what the Bible says there. The seventh, the time. Listen to what the Bible, listen to what it says here. My internet is just hanging. You need to be able to see and understand the mystery of this. Now listen to what the Bible says. It said the seventh, Shabbat, other form, seventh, that is seventh, time. You know, they put in time in brackets. You need to understand what is happening. You need to understand. Talking about the moments, this time, this particular moment that we are in is the seventh. So this time is the Shabbat of Yahuwah. So the Shabbat of Yahuwah, what are you to do? You are to go into his rest. What is his rest? His rest is to run into the Noah's Ark. What is the Noah's Ark? Yahuwah is what is the Shabbat. So when you run into Yahuwah, you are no longer going to be walking, because you have taken all your burdens and you poured it into Yahuwah. So and Yahuwah is going to do what he said. Come and take up my meek, and I'm meek and lonely. For my yoke is easy. It's very easy. What is it? Just take all your own and pour it into him, and he's going to do what he's going to cater for you. But you don't understand it. You want to walk on your own, because you've been brainwashed by the ETs, by the people who are on this planet, and that is why you've been deceived. You're trying to go out there saying that you want to keep your own Shabbat. You don't know what you're dealing with. So when we talk about seventh, we are talking about the moments, the bosom, the time that we are in here. The seventh is the moments that we are in here. That is this time. That is now the bosom. As you can see here, now. This is it. So now we talk about the seventh, you know, and you hear about day. You hear about day. When you go into the book of day, now we talk about Genesis chapter number 8 from verse number 4. Let's go there so that we can be able to really have a conclusion on this particular topic. Because you need to be able to really get rooted in the knowledge of truth. Do not let all these them Shabbat Torah people who are trying to say that they are trying to play people's mind game by telling them that they are keeping the Shabbat. You are keeping nothing. You are keeping nothing. You are just risking the people's life. Them dumb people which are in your own congregation who do not even do their own research. What happened is they are following all these dumb people they are all going to find themselves to blame. Because they are going to be following your footsteps. They are going to be following the footsteps of those people who are leading them. Not knowing that they were not supposed to be keeping their own Shabbat. This Shabbat which they are keeping is like they are saying that when Yahuwah is walking, they themselves also they will be walking. And that is when they are going to be, that is when the penalty is going to be upon their own head. So even their leader is going to be penalized, and all of them. That is why you see that a lot of them were perished in the wilderness. They don't know what they are dealing with, trying to do the same thing that Yahushua did. Listen to what the Bible says in the book of Genesis. In the book of Genesis chapter number 8 from verse number 4. And the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 7th day of the month, upon the mount of Ararat. So the day there is what I want you to understand. Day means the moments and time. Talk about the 7th, talking about the womb. The womb which we are in now. The womb, that is this moment in time period. That is why you see them combination 7th day, which means the womb moment, or the bosom moment, the bosom time that we are in. That is the 7th day. This is the 7th day. So in this 7th day, you are to look up to Yahushua. You are to run into Yahushua. You are to run into the Noah's Ark. And when you run into the Noah's Ark, you are going to be saved. When you run into the Noah's Ark, you are going to be free. When you run into the Noah's Ark, you are going to have rest. Come unto me, all you that labor, and I'm going to give you rest. I'm going to be your Shabbat. I'm going to be your Noah's Ark. But you see a lot of people who are trying to they want to make it with their own power, and that is when you're going to know. That is when all you crack heads that are so stubborn, you don't hear. You just prefer to listen to other people who are trying to push you and send you so that you can be walking when Yahuwah is walking. All these dumb people who are following all these them crackhead who do not even know their direction, try to push them under the rod of Yahuwah. When Yahuwah is working, they want to push them under the rod of Yahuwah, and they are going to find themselves to blame. Because today you are here, you are listening. I'm telling you that we are in the bosom time period. We are to, at this time, do what? Run into Yahushua. Because that is the rest. That is the Noah's Ark. When you run into Yahushua, you are not going to be walking when Yahuwah is walking. You are going to be resting. That is why Judah had rest, because they seeked him and they found him within his own during the time that Yahuwah was working. You don't understand what is going on. I give you mysteries of the things which is contained in the book, because this is who we are. We are the light of the world, to be able to do what? To elevate you and bring you into that place of freedom. To bring you into that place of freedom. That is why the name Yahushua, you need to be able to understand that the Most High, that name Yahushua, Yahuwah is freedom. It's freedom to bring you into the place where you're going to have rest. You have nothing to worry yourself about. You don't worry about nothing. But you see a lot of people trying to push you and trying to tell you that you have to keep the Shabbat. You have to do all these things when you are supposed to pump everything into Yahushua. You say to Yahushua, you know what? Take my burden. I can't bear this burden. Take. Do whatsoever you want with me. But they themselves, they want to do it on their own. Listen to what the Bible says in the book of Isaiah. Isaiah, talking about these them people who are trying to say that they want to they are keeping the Shabbat. All them hypocrites, all them liars out there, trying to say that they are going to find themselves to blame. Listen to what the Bible says in the book of Isaiah. I'm going to show you, I'm showing you the mysteries of the book. Listen what the Bible says. Isaiah chapter number 3. What does the Bible say right there? He said, to what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me? Said Yahuwah, I'm full of the burnt offering of rams and fat beasts, and I delight not in the blood of the bullock, or of lambs, or of he-goats. When you come to appear before me, who had required all this in your hand? Bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and the Shabbat, your own Sabbath, everything, the one that you are doing on your own now. That is why he's telling you, this is your own Sabbath you are doing. He is telling that your Sabbath that you are doing, he don't care about it any longer. Listen to what the book is saying. Because it is not Yahuwah's Shabbat that you are keeping your own. And he is watching your own Sabbath. And he said to this nonsense which you people are doing, he said, bring no more this nonsense before him. He said that bring no more this oblations and this Shabbat and the new moons. He said, the calling away of your assembly, I cannot away with. It is an iniquity, even the solemn meeting. He said in verse number 14, he said, your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hated. They are a trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them. That is when you people are trying to keep your own Shabbat. He said, get away. Get all this nonsense from his face. He said he's weary of it. That is when all of you are everyone is trying to please him in his own Shabbat way. He said all these things, go away from his face. And that is why you need to understand the mysteries of the things which I'm giving you. But when you run into Yahuwah, you are in the ark. You are in the Noah's ark. Everything that is going on, everything, you are already resting. When Yahuwah is walking, he was not talking to the people who were in the Noah's ark here. He was not talking to the people who were already in Yahuwah at this time here. You need to understand that the people who have already run into Yahuwah, they are in the Noah's ark. They are resting. Balance, they are resting. They have rest all around them. Why these ones are running helter-skelter, trying to keep their own Shabbat on their own. I give you mysteries of the book. Do not let all these brainwashed people who are in the Shabbat, people who have been stuck down here to be able to deceive you and be able to put you under bondage. You are to be in Yahuwah, because that is the spirit of life. When you run into Yahuwah, that is the rest. The rest is in Yahuwah. Go into Yahuwah and you are going to be free. That is the spirit of life. The name Yahuwah is a spirit, is a ruach. Is a ruach, my dear brothers and sisters. You need to be able to understand the mysteries of the things which is contained in the book. And I'm here to be able to elevate my brothers and my sisters, to give them the concrete understanding of the things which are written in the book, to be able to bring them to the place of rest, to the place of freedom. I pray, may the Most High, whose name is Yahuwah, be the one to give them the strength, those who have sincerely come out to be able to do whatsoever they can in order to do what, to struggle just like the Judah, that the Most High is going to do what, show them and give them the rest which is in Yahuwah, so that they will run into it and they are going to be saved. They are going to be watching other ones trying to do it on their own. I give you the mysteries of Yahuwah through Yahuwah, because it is in me. Shalom to all my brothers and sisters out there. Shalom all those who have listened, and your Baruch through today's teaching. May the Most High name, whose name is Yahuwah, be praised in the name of Yahuwah. Shalom.